Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Creation Myths. This is going to be a quick one. I just want to point out here that Discovery Institute, through their Center for Science and Culture YouTube channel, Discovery Science, ironically named, recently put out this video. Now, this may look familiar to you because this is the same long story short video that went out about a year and a half ago as I sit here in November of 2025. And it was this video that led directly to my debate on junk DNA with Dr. Casey Luskin, who, remember, is the Associate Director of the Discovery Institute Center for Science and Culture. In that debate, Dr. Luskin admitted that we have a documented function for less than 50% of the human genome. Now, this is notable for two reasons. First, it's actually a lot less than that. We've directly documented functionality in like maybe 10% of the genome, and you can stretch that to maybe like 15% if you're pretty generous with the numbers, but you can't really realistically go beyond that with what we know about the genome and the functions that have been proposed and documented right now. But more importantly, that admission was a significant change to Discovery Institute's position on junk DNA, which I pointed out repeatedly and with relish, because it's not every day you get a major creationist organization to change their position on one of their signature issues. Now, what followed was months of back and forth and Discovery Institute retconning their position to say, no, we've always, thought that, right? And we've always said that. And I showed that that's not the case. I showed that historically they said, 80% or more of the genome is functional. We expect the whole genome to be functional. Junk DNA is dead. Now, why am I rehashing this right now? Because here we are over a year and a half later from when Long Story Short put out that original video on junk DNA that led to all of that stuff. We're a year and a half later, and Discovery Institute just rebroadcast the same video. Just no changes, no editing. It's got a different title, and check out that title. The 98% thing, that's totally wrong. That was never true, and I've pointed out that lie from Discovery Institute and other people. So I pointed it out in this video, looking at a couple people from Discovery Institute, and then over the course of my back and forth with Dr. Luskin and also Dr. Jonathan McClatchy, I caught Casey Luskin making the exact same false claim after I had directly explained the history of the term to him. I had said, by the way, here's actually where this term came from, so you're misusing it when you say that. And I caught him in that lie. Like, it's all documented in black and white right there. So now here we are over a year past that incident, and we've got Discovery Institute just blatantly putting out the same lie. I also want to point out here that back when all this was going on last year, I called that this was going to happen. I said that eventually they're going to give up on this retcon and just go back to saying the thing they've always said about junk DNA, which is that there is no junk DNA, the genome is basically entirely functional, and that's evidence for intelligent design, right? So I also just love that this puts a bow on the whole thing. We've come full circle with them literally not just changing their position back away from the thing that Luskin admitted last year. They're going back to their original position, and they're doing so by reposting the original video that started the whole thing in the first place. It's just such a perfect illustration of how they approach these questions and this discourse. This is an organization that does not care about honesty, accuracy, intellectual consistency, none of those things, right? This is purely about propaganda to try to undermine the pursuit of knowledge through the scientific method and get the Judeo-Christian God into schools and into the scientific establishment as a substitute for objective knowledge and systematic investigation. That is what's going on here. And the fact that they're just willing to just put this propaganda out there with no modification, despite everything that's happened since this video was originally released, is a telltale sign of what they care about and what they don't care about. So keep in mind, everybody, Discovery Institute is a Christian nationalist propaganda think tank, and they're part of the ongoing right-wing Christian nationalist project in the United States and have been from the beginning. all this stuff about, oh, intelligent design is real science, it's not creationism, it's different, yada. That's always been a lie. That's always been window dressing. We know that from the Wedge document. We know that from C design proponents-ists. And incidents like this make it really clear that that is still the case, and it will probably always be the case. So that's what I wanted to point out in this video. Thank you all for watching. Please remember to subscribe, hit like, leave a comment, share this video, and as always, don't get fooled.